Hello. Happy Friday. Oh yeah. How's everyone doing? What's up, Tristan? It's gonna be an awesome stream today. Okay, you're probably gonna learn a lot of new stuff today. A new method to cook steaks and how to make fresh pasta from hand. It's gonna be a really fun stream. So menu, reverse-seared ribeyes. These lovely ones that I got to show you guys yesterday. So I just took these out of the fridge a little while ago. That way they'll warm up a bit before we bake them. Break out the elk. No, that's for rum hotties. Maybe after though. If we're feeling it, if I'm doing good. And then I'm gonna make a mushroom ravioli. So I have cremini mushrooms and I'm gonna do a little bit of an herb and ricotta kind of filling with that. And these really cool squash that I found at the grocery store. They're from Guatemala. I know it's not like West Coast, but they are hand-picked and hand-packaged, so I made sure that they were taken care of in that aspect. And then I did have an abundance of cherry tomatoes, so I'll just get those nice and blistered in the oven as well later on for a little garnish on our plate. Get all those nice colors going today. The timeline for this dish, sorry, there's something stuck to my lip. I would say this should take you about 2 hours. Yes, like we're gonna make the pasta, roll it from hand, do all that fun stuff. So 2 hours today because the steak will probably take about an hour to slowly roast in the oven. Really, really low temp. Yes, Viali. I had to start a little bit earlier just because there are so many of you in chat now and I like chatting with you, but I just kept pushing my dinners back later and later and my people started to get a little impatient, but that is okay. I'm all down for starting earlier. That means I get to spend more time with you guys. And our ravioli, so once we make the pasta, it takes at least 30 minutes to rest. That's a very important step. So while the pasta is resting, we'll be able to make our filling and prep our veg for later. And then we'll roll it out and probably about half an hour before we eat, I'll turn on the grill outside with charcoal and I'll switch over the camera so that one of the cameras can be outside and that's gonna be pretty fun. I haven't used the big green egg like too much. It's my boyfriend's. He's like the master on that thing, but I wanna start learning a lot on there too. Sup, Jim? Welcome. So ingredients going down today for our pasta dough. I am going to make quite a bit of raviolis, so 48 is the recipe that it said it would make. I just didn't feel that 24 would be enough for 4 people. Like that's only 6 pieces each. And I am a pasta monster. Anies, hello sir. So pasta dough, 4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm doing 4 duck eggs, but if you just have large chicken eggs, use 6. And then 2 tablespoons of olive oil is gonna go into the dough. And then we have our 4 steaks here for later. Those, we're just gonna keep them simple seasoned, salt and pepper. Let the meat speak for itself. And our pasta filling, I have cremini mushrooms, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 onion, thyme, rosemary, and sage that I just picked from the garden, 500 grams of ricotta, and I think I want to put a little bit of mozza inside just so it gets like really nice and stretchy and cheesy. I love cutting into pasta and like lifting it up and there's just like a string of cheese. Amazing. And then our veggie sides were the baby squash, and I'm just gonna pan fry that later, and cherry tomatoes. Doggo's having a drink. But I don't have a chat bot in here. I just started. I just went through the ingredients. Tristan, get the pizza. Do it. Do it, do it. So, order of prep. We're gonna bake the steaks off first. Sounds good, bud. We'll be here. And that's in a 250 Fahrenheit oven, so really, really low. And those are gonna slowly come up to temp. Similar to sous vide, I'll go through, I have about 4 pages here, guys, of stuff that we're gonna learn together after this. And then once the steaks are in, let's make our pasta dough, because that's the next thing that takes the longest. It has to rest for half an hour. Then we'll make our mushroom filling, prep the squash, prep the tomatoes. And after that's done, the pasta should be rested. That should at least take us half an hour. We will start to roll out our pasta. That's probably the most difficult part of dinner today. And the rest after that is really fun. So after we roll out our pasta, I should have to go start the grill. It takes about half an hour to heat up. A lot longer than, let's say, a gas grill. And then our squash should only take 10 minutes. So 10 minutes before we're gonna eat, I'll start cooking that as well as the tomatoes. And the steaks on the grill should only take about 5 minutes. Not even per side, probably only 2 minutes a side. We're gonna crank it up really high, probably 600 Fahrenheit to get a really nice sear on there. I think I'm gonna start earlier, guys, like 2:30, just because my stream's been ending around like 6:30 and 6:45, and we usually eat around 6. So I just bumped it up a bit because we chat lots and it's fun. I don't want to stop doing that. So longer streams, that's all good. So time to learn. The reverse-sear method was developed in the early 2000s, so very recent, by multiple people independently. So no one actually put their name on this method of cooking. It just kind of became a fad and then took off. And oh, since you guys are talking about subs, I added a little bit of stuff on my channel page for incentive and such. I put in, if I get 15 subs, I will take a bite out of an onion raw. It'll happen. And then I bumped up my follower goal to 200, and I'm giving myself a month to get that goal. And I'll see how that goes. I know, but it's terrifying. Don't even watch that stream. Oh, Matt. Okay, back to learning. So early 2000s, this reverse-sear method was developed by a bunch of people all at one time. So no one put their name on it. And this is when all the interest in food science and precision cooking techniques were starting to pop up. So with sous vides being really expensive back then still, it was easy to see why the reverse-sear method was brought to light, because you can do that in your oven easily. You don't have to buy something that's $300 probably back then. Did they make up? That was Mom, Tristan. She be chillin'. And the process for this is very simple, with the only downfall being the length of cooking time. So you'll need to buy a piece of meat at least 1 inch thick. Anything thinner than that, the meat doesn't tend to cook the right way and you won't get what you want out of it. So if you need to go to a butcher shop and ask them to get a thick cut, go for it. And we're gonna generously season this with salt and pepper before it goes in. I'll show you that nice coating that I usually do. And place the meat on a wire rack and set it in a baking sheet, like so. That way the meat can be cooked evenly from all sides. That's why we're keeping it raised up off of a flat surface. And the oven should be set no higher than 275 Fahrenheit and no lower than 200 Fahrenheit. I doubt you'll ever get your oven to 200 Fahrenheit, but if you can, go for it. Just keep in mind, the lower the oven temp, the longer your steak will take to cook. And we're gonna cook our meat until the internal temperature is about 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit lower than what we wanna serve it at. So if I'm doing a medium rare steak today, I'm only gonna cook my steaks to, let's say 110 Fahrenheit, and then the grill finishing it off is gonna bring it up to 120 or 125 Fahrenheit, which is perfect medium rare.
Oh, it's raining again now.
Yes, oh Matt. 1 inch. So probably like your little fingertip. Let's say 1 inch. Yeah, Viali, I mean, it's up to you, but the steak is not sitting out for more than 3 hours, so you don't have to worry about any foodborne illnesses when you do this. So you're fine. And then we're gonna remove the steak from the oven once it's cooked. Let it rest for at least 15 minutes before you go to sear it. That way the juices can all commingle and get happy in there. And we're gonna finish it off. You can sear it in a pan, but I am gonna grill it. And you'll always want a really high heat.
I'm gonna grill it, just so we know.
Together. I already set it up though, I did good.
Oh, did you?
I did good.
Except it's raining and it's gonna get all wet.
No, it's not raining.
It is raining.
Oh, now it's raining?
Yeah.
Guys, now I'm getting in shit. I gotta go close the grill.
I got it.
Yeah, Barry's home early on a Friday.
Beard's got it.
Barry and Frank and Betty are all here, and Kush.
Oh my god.
Okay, so 4 advantages of using this method of cookery. You get a more even cook throughout the piece of meat. Typically, a straight seared piece of meat is well cooked on the outside, so you'll always have that kind of grayish ring around your steak. And quickly brought up to temp to cook the center through. So the more gently you're cooking a piece of meat, the more evenly it's gonna cook. So low and slow is always your best bet. I know the beard is looking thick. Might have to trim it up soon. Okay, number 2 advantage. The meat is gonna brown more evenly during searing. So when searing meat, there are 3 things to consider energy-wise. The temperature change of the surface, the evaporation of the surface moisture, and then the Maillard browning effect. So Maillard reaction, that is whenever you get a piece of meat or even vegetables that start to turn brown, that is what that means. And that's pretty much just your proteins that are caramelizing, and that creates all of the best flavors. So the reverse method is cooked at such a low temperature that there's no need to consider a temp change on the surface. The meat is already going to be fully warmed through. And the evaporation of surface moisture happens during the bake in the oven, resulting in a really nice dry exterior. And then that helps immensely towards our Maillard reaction, aka browning deliciousness. I'm so excited to cook outside. Number 3, the meat is going to come out more tender. By slowly heating the steak, we are rapidly aging it by increasing the enzyme activity that is responsible for breaking down meat protein. Right earmuff. Get a new pair of headphones, bud. Okay, number 4, the process is more forgiving. So there's always a very narrow window of time available to hit that perfect internal temperature of a fresh seared piece of meat. With slow cooking, that window is expanded, making it easier to nail that medium rare or however you want to cook your steak. One might also say the reverse sear method is better than sous vide, and that's because sous vide products always come out of the bag wet. So like I did yesterday with the pork, some pieces seared up really nice and other pieces were a little bit off. And even though I patted it with dry paper towel, they weren't able to get fully dried before I seared them. But with that said, sous vide is the better option if you're going for consistency, because it's virtually impossible to overcook a piece of meat in there. A monster. No, they don't even bug me now. I love it. How many onions, girl or guy? 1. That's going in the filling for the Rav. So, back to our sous vide cooking of meat. The only thing that might happen if you leave it in the water too long is that the meat might get like a weird pasty texture, because it will still slowly start to fall apart. I've had meat like this and it's definitely not appealing. So if you ever go to a restaurant and you get like a soggy, weird piece of sous vide meat, just send it back, because that's probably been sitting in the water like way too long. At least like 2 to 3 hours too long. Girl, guy, I don't know. Hot grill. Okay, onto ravioli history. This is a type of dumpling composed of a filling sealed between 2 thin layers of pasta dough. It's usually served in broth or sauce and are typically square, circular, or semicircular. So here is the cutter I'm gonna use today. I think I'm gonna do like the fancy scalloped edge side. Attacking. And the earliest known mention of ravioli appears in the 14th century. Fresh pasta is coveted for its tender, silky texture and rich egg flavor. And also they tend to have a nice soft yellow hue. Extruded pastas like penne, macaroni, and rigatoni have a different dough formula and use expensive equipment to produce. So definitely don't use like a fresh egg pasta if you're trying to do an extruded pasta. Way, way different, and you'll probably plug up your machine. It's also very important to laminate the pasta dough when you're rolling it out. So we're gonna create a couple folds in there and you'll yield a much smoother end result. I like to use the 2-fold method, which I'll show you later on when we roll it out. And that's it, guys. So I'm gonna turn on the oven right now, 250 Fahrenheit. And then once the steaks go in, I'm gonna set a timer for, let's say, half an hour and see where it's at after that. And then I'll adjust accordingly. Locked and loaded. Love it, guys. Okay, first off, you gotta get some steak pour in there. Aw, yeah. So nice. It's almost as red as my apron. So let's pick the best steak right now. This one right here.
Top right.
Yeah. Like this whole piece is just heaven. Whereas these other steaks right here only have a little bit, right? So that's the rib cap, and that's pretty much the most tender piece of beef that you can get. Yeah, how much was it per kilo? $52 a kilo if you were to just buy the rib cap piece. Too much white. Tristan, no wonder you get A-grade steak. We need all that fat. But ribeye is like the most fatty. That's what creates all of the flavor, guys. We need it. And that's actually some of the smallest like fat pieces I've seen before. I've seen some with like a huge chunk in the middle. And definitely don't pick that, because then you're just paying for nothing. No, Finn. Where is Finn? He's not even in here. He's like, no butter today. I won't even watch. Have I seen buffalo steak? Yeah. Bison, buffalo. I've eaten it before. It's really good. It's actually a lot better for you than beef because it is a lot leaner. So Tristan would probably like that better. 3 cubes of butter. No problem then. Okay, so how is that butter different from the beef fat? It's really not. They're both saturated fats that are not good for you. Gotta get that seasoned cam on. I'm almost gonna fully coat the top in a layer of salt. Just because these steaks are thick cut, it's surprising how much salt it actually takes to season it all the way through. And then this salt is gonna create the most amazing crust when we go to sear it off later. When will the outside part start? Not till near the end of the stream, so you guys are probably gonna be in bed. Unless you're staying up. Oh, Matt, you said you weren't even gonna be here. You're going out to your friend's birthday. If everything goes good, outside part should start maybe around 5. Let's see if I can crush this today. Hello, Abs. How's your day going? Okay, that is happiness. Oh, Matt. Ah, yeah. What are you making on Sunday, oh, Matt? Your Sunday cookery. Have I ever seen a chef that shouldn't be one? Yep. So bad. Don't even ask that question. Sam will tell the story, I guess.
Too many. There's too many chefs that aren't good.
Chefs. Get your lemon pepper out of here. That's meant for like fish, not beef. Yum. But if we are serving fries with this steak, then we could maybe consider the lemon pepper. Man, how they get the job is more like a word of mouth if somebody knows them, or like if the general manager of the restaurant is friends with them. I know, it's pretty sad. The last brewery that we worked at together, we had a very, very terrible chef. Pretty much all he did was sit upstairs and do paperwork for 8 hours a day. I don't even care if he ends up watching this stream, because he already knows I dislike him. But yeah, he eventually ended up getting fired. Did he even make it a year? No, he didn't even make it a year. And then Sam and I took over the restaurant after he left. But it didn't really change anything because we were already doing all of the work anyways. And like, he would come into work with like dress shirts on and try and cook in the kitchen with us. So bad. Omni, what is up? Okay, and I also just want to give out a shout out to iBrick, because He gave me $8 in bits earlier today, and I wasn't even on streaming, so that's why he's top cheer right now. He's a sneaky cheerer. Okay, oven yelled at me. That means steaks can go in. You got fan? Yeah, I'll turn fan. 30-minute timer is set. And now we can make pasta dough. Well, welcome to the stream, Omni. Making some steaks today. Homemade ravioli. This meat's okay though too. Yeah, squatto correct can go down today, guys. Squatto correct. Did you guys see the baby squashes earlier? They're so cute. Baby squashes. And guess what? We're planting the garden in 2 weeks. So garden stream is gonna be lit. Okay, pasta dough. 4 cups of flour is going into my mixer. If you guys have a KitchenAid, use your dough hook attachment. And if you don't have any kitchen appliances, well then you have to use your own power. Pasta dough is not too bad to knead by hand. It'll probably take you a good 10 minutes of work. And your arms might hurt a little bit after, but I swear it's worth it. So the flour is the first thing to add to the mixer. And this is gonna make 48 raviolis. All of the ravs.
Can we go offline for 10 seconds? I think I know what the problem is. Like 10 seconds.
Okay guys, Barry says I need to go offline for 10 seconds because he thinks he knows how to fix the leg. So be right back in like 10 seconds, not even. Let's see if this can fix us on our Friday.